We are back, episode 5, with a new guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Kyle. I'm a VTuber, variety streamer, uh political activist somewhat here and there. It's nice to see you.
Great, 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 great. So, just a little bit of context for myself, I think. First episode, very structured. I just went down a list of questions, just down a list. Second episode with Bambi, it was still structured, but then like a little bit of like free. Then Azuki's episode was like 50-50. Aigami's episode just went completely out the window. Just no structure at all. And I was like, this is crazy. But I kind of want to keep letting that evolve. So I still have
Mhm.
my questions, but like I'm open to just like seeing where it goes, basically the conversation. But I
Oh
still
yeah.
want to keep it like on course of like what the podcast talk show is about, where it's like it's about you, where you come
Yeah.
from, who you are, what you're doing today, and where you're hoping to go for the future,
Yeah.
basically.
I'll
So,
try really hard to stay on track. I like to ask a lot of questions myself, so um
mm,
we'll,
okay,
we'll we'll do it. We'll do
okay,
our best. We'll do our best.
okay. So clearly, visually, we can see. Also, that's my PNG right there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
So we can clearly see VTuber.
Yeah.
What like why VTuber? There's a lot of people that do face cam
Right.
like I do. So like why are you a VTuber? Why is that the way to express yourself that you have chosen?
So it's actually a really funny story. I used to be a flesh tuber. I hate that term. It's so gross.
Ooh. Okay.
It's
Yeah. It is
what's
kind of
what
a
they
weird
call it.
word. It is a weird word.
It's icky. It's icky. It's icky. So I've been doing this for over 6 years now.
Mm.
And I was on camera for like the first half, and that's where I found a good amount of success. I was comfortable with it. It was fine. And then I hit this point where I just wasn't really like having fun with streaming anymore. I think I was just becoming really cognizant of like how I looked on camera and how I needed to
Mm.
present myself and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know how to fix it. So I went on this long hiatus and I couldn't figure out what to do to bring, the love for the game back. And I ended up going on vacation
Mm-hmm.
and I used a DSLR camera as my webcam. And I took it all apart because it was part of this huge setup to use it as a
Mm-hmm.
webcam so I could go do some photography on this vacation. And
Mm.
when I came back, I was so lazy and maybe just not motivated because
Uh-huh.
I had, was having a hard time with streaming. And
Mm-hmm.
I just left it in the bag for like a month. And eventually I was like, if I don't figure something out, I'm never going to stream again because
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to pull that camera out of the bag and set it back up.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming up with this idea to put like a little PNG on the screen. And that
Yeah.
was that was my idea. I had no idea what VTubers were at this point.
So you
No
you
idea.
hadn't seen anyone else use a PNG.
No, literally never.
Oh wait, are you like
And
looking
so
the pioneer?
yeah,
No, but that's crazy. Really, you were just
yeah.
like, let me just
So
use a picture.
yeah. I found some guy on Fiverr to make me something that kind of closely resembled me as a person. And
Wow.
for the longest time, that was just it. It was just a little like cartoon version of me in the corner.
Uh
And
huh.
we'd go and we'd get like special little versions made. Like we did a Legend of Zelda marathon at one point, and I had like a Zelda themed one and a bunch of different stuff. And
Hmm.
then as I was doing that, my audience introduced me to the concept of VTubers, and I can't believe I didn't know about them up to this point.
Mm.
I'm a huge
Yeah.
weeb. It's like right up my alley. And
Oh.
I honestly, like, honest to God, thought it was weird at first. I
I
looked
mean,
at
I think
different
yeah,
VTubers.
it's
Yeah,
so yeah, it's so niche. It's like
yeah,
what
it
you move,
kind of.
it moves the
Yeah, well, it's uncanny when
yeah.
you look at a VTuber moving on the screen. Like for the first time, if you're not like ready for that, it's kind of awkward. It comes across really weird. You have to open your mind to it and you have to really take in the content before you start to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I was just watching VTubers that didn't have like super good tracking or whatever, but I remember my first thought was I don't need that. There is never a
Oh.
place where I will need that. I was like, I'll just keep a PNG for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on, I just like the it just wiggled into my brain this idea that I could do
Oh.
more with it. And eventually I was looking at pre-mades online and I found one that I thought was cool. And I'm super picky, right? Like I'm an incredibly
Yeah,
picky
real.
person.
True.
And so I found one that finally resonated with me and I used it and there's no looking back. That's just where I ended up.
Mm.
And ever since I did that, I've really come to appreciate the medium. I feel really weird amongst my peers because a lot of them are longtime VTuber fans, and that's why they started VTubing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they idolize somebody. They've got Oshis in the community, right? For
Yeah.
those of you that don't know that term, it's like someone that you look up to as a creator, like your idol, right?
Great
Um,
explanation, because I wouldn't be able to tell you what that means. I just
yeah,
know it's a word and y'all use
yeah,
it, but I don't know. Mm.
y'all use it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
yeah. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so a lot of my peers have these people that they look up to and that they try to model after, and I just get into these conversations with people and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like did you see this Iron Mouse thing?" Or like, "Do you know about Bao or any of these other people?" And I was like, I literally have never heard that name in my entire life.
Wow.
I have no idea what's going on. And now I'm
Mm.
like way more integrated. I've become kind of this like VTuber champion a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I like to think of myself as this sort of like, this is gonna sound dumb, but like this missing link between like the face cam streamer and the VTuber because there's a lot
Mm.
of like really niche things that VTubers will do
Mm.
that I think are awesome, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm,
amazing to
mm-hmm.
have special VTuber things, but
Yeah.
a lot of those things you will find a regular audience will come into a chat and see and be like, yeah, that's not really my style, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I tend to do things a little bit more casually. I have a like a more casual cadence in the way that I speak, and the way that I use like slang or whatever. So it's a little different, but it was definitely a journey getting here. Uh, did I ever think I would be here? No, absolutely not. I
Yeah.
figured I would be on camera forever, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. It's such a wonderful expression of like creativity and art, and you can do so much with it that you can't do as a person, like on
Absolutely.
camera,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you start breaking out into some of these like 3D models where people are creating these like actual 3D sets and like setting themselves up in the
Yeah.
world
It's
and changing
insane.
camera angles. It's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. I'm in love with it. I'm obsessed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I, from everything I've heard, I can tell that I relate. I relate to what you said about like it's kind of like a little worm in your brain that doesn't leave, and it's like maybe I should try it out. That was,
Yeah.
I feel like I had the opposite thing from your story because like
Yeah.
I was already streaming previously on and off, no camera, no mic, just making art. But what made me like started on it more seriously last year was like, oh, I'm gonna be a VTuber. Like I'm gonna get a PNG. Like I'm gonna make, cause like I can make my own things. It's like I'm gonna draw everything.
Right.
It's like VTubering is gonna get me like confidence. Like I'm gonna do it like
Mhm.
this. But after a while, I realized I wanted to be seen. So it's kind of funny how like you kind of start off thinking that you want it a certain way until like you kind of
Yeah.
experience it. But also it's like you're kind of honest with yourself and you're like, I want to keep doing this thing. I imagine you wanted to keep doing it deep down, but it's like I just don't enjoy the way that I'm doing it currently.
Oh, 100%. And that's
Mhm.
so valid too. Like I will be watching face cam streamers. Most of the streamers that I watch nowadays,
Mhm.
because Twitch is my like my go-to content experience anymore. Like a medium, I guess is a better word, but I'll watch mostly face cam streamers and I'll find these moments where I'll be watching them and they'll do something really funny, but it comes from like this sort of physical comedy world, right? Like they'll
Mhm.
make a look on their face or like an expression or they'll do something with their body and I'll be like, "Wow, I wish I could do that." Like I kind of
Mm.
miss the opportunity to do
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think there's something really particularly special too about really just being in front of a camera and having that sort of raw connection with someone watching
Mhm.
you where they can see everything that's happening on your face or everything that's
Mhm.
happening in
Mhm.
your room or how you react to a game. There's only so much that can happen when I'm playing like a horror game and I get scared and the most that they see is like, oh, my eyes open really wide and my mouth opens. It's not the same, right?
Yeah, it's
So
not the same.
yeah, I definitely get it. I 100% get it.
Sure, the visual is like different. Someone's
Yeah.
maybe some people are just exclusively PNG. Some people don't even have PNG or camera at all. They're just like, oh, they're just a voice.
Yeah.
But what's really like beautiful and like really cool is that like we're all just people trying to express ourselves and just like be who we are through
Yeah.
this like streaming medium or whatever medium that it is. It's really it's really cool. And so I'm wondering, who is Kyle XCVI behind the model? Like, who are you as a person? What's your background?
Mm.
Like, what did you? How'd you learn about streaming? Cause like
So
you didn't know about VTubing, so how'd you learn about how'd you learn about
yeah.
streaming?
So do we have like a day to go over all of this? Because we could be here all day.
Feel
Let me
free
give you
to
the
talk.
digested version, right?
Okay.
So kind of going back, this is going to be really funny because I just said I'm giving you the digested version.
Mhm.
When I was a small child,
Okay, we're going. I
when
don't
I
mind. This
was
is your episode.
yeah
Like, feel free to yap.
yeah, I got you. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I won't take up too much. Don't worry. Um, when I was a small child, I was enamored with the idea of making things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was at the very core of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a writer from a very young age. I used to make like little short films and short little comedy skits with my friends. And this is gonna date me on like Sony camcorders that you used to put little tapes in and
Mm-hmm.
record them on, and you had to pull the footage off of the tape. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been in love with this concept of being able to express myself and to create something that didn't exist already.
Mm.
And it's kind of manifested itself in a lot of ways. I think over the course of my life, I've probably had no less than 10 different YouTube channels across different things like
Mm.
gaming and like skits and general comedy stuff and
Wow.
whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that 99% of those are and continue to be buried forever because
Oh.
I never want to see them again. But,
I
but
but
yeah,
but
but
but but
there is a lot of brilliance in there, and the one thing I don't regret is making things because still at this point it
mm-hmm.
is the cornerstone, like the centerpiece of who I am as a person.
Absolutely.
A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people
Mm-hmm.
struggle with this idea of like purpose and figuring out what they're supposed to do, and I landed on it a long time ago. And I think the answer is that I am here to make things, if not for other people, then just for myself, because it is what I find the most fulfilling. It's what I find grants me the most purpose. It is absolutely what I want to do. So I was a YouTube content creator for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In college, I started a group called Comcade with some of my buddies from college and some of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like an improv comedy group. So we would do like, I don't know if you were watching YouTube at this time when these were really big, but there used to be some trends where people would do like the 7-second challenge, if you remember that or you know what that
Ooh, that
is.
sounds really fun. I
Uh,
think I know. That
yeah,
sounds
or
so
like
familiar.
yeah, or
Yeah,
we
yeah.
would do like those games where people used to like put headphones on and play loud music and you would have to say something to them and they'd have to try to figure out what you said. A bunch of little
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
things like
yeah.
that,
Uh-huh,
like
mm-hmm.
whatever. And we would do like little comedy skits and we did this like half improv, half scripted like sitcom show that was really cool, and it was super meta about like this group of people trying to make it as YouTubers,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like absolutely us, but it was also structured in a way that it was kind of like a sitcom, and it
Mm-hmm.
was super cool. It was one of my passion projects, and we got a pretty huge break. And we got to go on tour and do improv comedy shows across the United States. We did it twice. We did one tour and then we did an encore tour, and that was incredible. It was amazing. It was one
Wow.
of the best moments of my life. I got to meet so many cool people, do so many things that I never would have had the opportunity to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still like very much our thing because we weren't big by any means. So every time
Yeah.
we would have an opportunity or have like a time to go and be somewhere, we would literally all load into a car and we would just take a road trip and we would get there and we would set ourselves up, and it was like it's what I imagine like a small music show would be, right? Like a small concert.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But anyway, that ended up falling apart at some point, as things do, as people
Mhm.
do. And I started looking for what to do next. And I was familiar with Twitch a little bit because while I was in this group, we would do charity live streams twice a year where we would raise money for some charity
Mhm.
and we would like hit incentives, do whatever, not important.
Mhm.
So I was aware of it and I was kind of in love with the idea, even though I had never really interacted with it, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I sat down and I decided to tackle it after everything started to fall apart. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. It was absolutely phenomenal. Originally, I was a League of Legends streamer, which was a
Mm.
thing in and of itself.
Before the
Um,
charity. Before the charity
uh,
things?
no, after.
Oh, after. Okay.
So when I eventually started streaming on Twitch, my niche was that I was a League of Legends streamer.
Okay, okay.
Which is a whole other thing. I used to coach professional League of Legends players in high school.
Mm.
And so I took that and I was like, I can market myself on this. And so when you go live on Twitch in like a super populated category like League, and you're like, hey, I was like a challenger slash pro player coach,
Mhm.
you'd be surprised how many people show up and beg you to coach them. And so it was pretty
Yeah.
great.
That's,
I had like a decent turnout from the start. It
mhm.
was pretty awesome. And then that's kind of how I discovered it. And then I started branching out to a lot of different things like variety and you know, exploring collabs with other people. And I was absolutely in love with it. And I think that's the part, or that's the point where I figured out that that Twitch is like where I belong. I think YouTube is
Mm.
great,
Mhm. Mhm.
and there is a part of me that adores long form content, scripted content, you
Mhm.
know, things that really like mean something, that you can put things together. And it's not to say Twitch doesn't mean something, but they're very different in terms
Mhm.
of the medium. But there's just something so beautiful and unmatched about being able to sit down in front of your computer, do the things you love doing, and build a community around that idea. Um,
Yeah.
and it's something you can't get anywhere else, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And I've been hooked on it since the first time I ever did it. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I recently watched a video on okay, so recently I've been getting really into like random pop culture things like why One
yeah.
Direction broke up. Like isn't that kind
Oh,
of
that's
random?
fun.
Like I was like for some reason. But there's this other video on like Dan and Phil, if you know them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how like a lot of people found comfort in them. And I was like, I never really found comfort in YouTubers. Like I grew up watching YouTube and
Mhm.
it was cool, but it never crossed my mind that I wanted to be a YouTuber. Like nothing at all. But
Yeah.
when I started getting more into watching Twitch streamers during the pandemic, that's when I was like, something about streaming, like you said, something about streaming is different that you
Yeah.
can't really necessarily get being a YouTuber. And it has to be like the live interaction,
Yeah.
isn't it?
There, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so funny you say that though, because I feel like so many people, especially like the younger generations, listen to me talking like an old man.
It's
But
okay.
so many young people grew up like with YouTube being like the main
Yeah.
media platform,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm,
people
mhm,
grow up and they idolize YouTubers, and I'm not exempt from that. I growing up watched a lot of Markiplier. That was my go-to guy. I
mhm.
loved it. I watched a bunch of stuff. Like I was big on like the Game Grumps and Super Mega and all that different stuff, but Markiplier was my man. And I remember he would release these videos where he would sit down and he would talk honestly and openly about his milestones and the things he was able to achieve, and he would talk about the fact that none of it would exist without the people in his corner, without his
Mhm,
audience and the people that supported him and showed up to watch his videos. And
mhm.
he would get super emotional and he'd start crying about it. And I used to watch those and I used to like cry with him because
Aw.
I was so invested in his trajectory, but also just it was so inspirational to me
Mhm.
and so moving to me watching that, that I was like, one day I want something to mean that much to me. You know, I want to be
Mhm.
able to create something that can move me and other people on a level just like this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it just, I fell in love with it. And from that point on, like, I had liked creating up to that point, but I think before that point, I had never really put this like concrete, like, concept on what it meant to like create as, you know, for a living.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
seeing Markiplier do it and have these moments and foster this sort of community really brought it all together for me. And from that moment I was hooked. I was, you know, I knew exactly where to go,
Yeah.
what to do.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't watch Markiplier. I didn't grow up watching Markiplier, but recently I had come across a video of his from like a few years ago talking about how you need to believe in yourself and you need
Yeah.
to like, go after what you want, and that like something that really like spoke to me was like when he said, "Do you think I got to where like I'm just like paraphrasing it
Paraphrasing, I
basically."
got you.
That he didn't get to, do you think that he got to where he got doubting himself? Like if you I've had that thought in my head before. It's like
Yeah.
the people, because there's people we look up to, right? There's people that like, oh, they've achieved amazing things. But if you I'm a doubting doubter. I doubt. I doubt.
Yeah.
But I imagine if those people that I look up to, if they doubted like I did and they didn't do anything, they wouldn't be where they are right now.
Yeah.
And it's like the comparison. He kind of talked about comparison where it's like to some degree you're gonna compare yourself, like Aigami said in his episode. To some degree you're gonna compare yourself, but like you have to really, really, really believe in what makes you like feel, I don't know, this pull, this urge, like you said, that you want to create something, like inside you just wants to create. And it's
Yeah.
like it's led your life. Like it's led your decisions, I feel like,
Right.
right?
No, absolutely. I
Mm-hmm.
think I have like a pretty strong feeling about this, or a pretty strong take on it, I guess. I absolutely agree with what he said and what it sounds like Ami said. And with your experience too, it's so creating can be really hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the act of creating is not simple, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
make something, provided you are putting like a lot of effort into it, that is akin to putting a piece of yourself out in front of other people and saying,
Yes.
here, consume this and understand not only what I am making, but what
Mm-hmm.
part of me is inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's scary. As someone that's made a lot of different stuff, like especially like making music is hard because you can like sit there and you can listen back to it a million times and you're like, this is maybe a little too deep or a little too personal, or maybe I
Yeah.
don't like the way I sound or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it's a lot, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
writing, I mean, I've been working on like the lore for my VTuber character, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to pour as much of myself into it as possible
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's really important to play off of like the things that are special to you and the things that you know best.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like you really do have to kind of believe in yourself to be able to exist in a platform like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I always say that like everyone should try creating at some point, even if it's not in a public capacity, but especially if it's in a public capacity. Because to me, there's not a lot more beautiful than making something and putting it in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's so human to me. It's like at the
Mm-hmm.
core of who we are. It's what makes us special. Going back as far as humanity has existed, people have been creating and sharing it. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
stories are the backbone of human society. Like for as long as humans have existed, people have created or, you know, like witnessed things and told those stories.
Mm-hmm.
People have written paintings on cave walls. Like it's literally
Yep. Yep.
who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's what sets us apart. And it's so beautiful and it's so deeply ingrained in the human experience that I'm in love with it. I'm enamored by it. And I think that a lot of people kind of are too, but they're afraid, right? Because they want to do it for fun. They want to make something and they want people to tell them it's good and they want to feel fulfilled by making something that they're proud of and
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there into the world. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that gets in the way of it. You know, the internet is a really vile place these days. There's a lot of terrible, terrible things. And that's coming from somebody that is terminally online, that is on Twitter way too much, which is maybe one of the single worst places for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and on top of that, like internal struggles, like I mentioned earlier, like hearing your own voice. That's the number one thing I hear from so many people that come to me and they say, hey, I want to stream like you, but I don't know how to get over this. How do I do it? And a lot of
Mhm.
times it's like I don't have this that I need, I don't have that, and also I can't stand how I sound.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's hard. There's a lot to overcome, but like my main piece of advice is that you got to be brave.
Yeah.
You got to do it because in the long
Mhm.
run, it's absolutely worth it. And if you do it and you decide it's not for you, cool. You gave it a shot. But
Mhm. Mhm.
the important thing is that, like, if you can't squash that fear of doing it, then do it scared.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. Mhm.
like
Mhm. Mhm.
courage is not doing something because you are not afraid of it. It's doing something in spite of that fear,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
And a lot of
Mhm. Mhm.
times it's so I hate to keep using the word fulfilling, but that's really exactly what it
Mhm.
is. You know, you overcome it and you get there, and it's like, wow, I climbed that mountain. You know, I
Mhm.
planted my flag down. I
Mhm.
am my own person. This is what I made. Take it. And it's unlike anything else. And I adore it.
Yeah, everything I love everything that you mentioned because I was having this conversation with myself before we started streaming. Fear, the doubt, all of that negativity that comes with putting yourself out there and listening to the pull inside of you to do something that is like for example this podcast. What the fuck? I've seen interviews. I've like thought about people interviewing me, but like
Mhm.
really to be completely honest, after meeting Azuki and Azuki introducing me to Bambi and Ara, I was like, and you guys also have like a broader friend group. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's something growing here, and I need to be the one to take that leap. I need to
Yeah.
I need to ask. Like, you don't know what could happen. It's scary. It doesn't like in a way it gets easier, but it doesn't get easier because the fear never goes away. The
Right.
anxiety never goes away. Unfortunately, that's what I was saying like to myself. I was like, you're never not going to be scared. You're never not going to be anxious. You're never not going to overthink. But you can find I don't know, identity, strength, pride in the fact that you still keep showing up. You still
Yep.
keep going. You still keep like it doesn't stop you, you know? And that's what I was telling my that's what I was telling myself. I'm like, you know, just don't and also another thing is that sometimes we get caught up in the outcome. It's like what's going to happen next? Like is this going to fail? Is this going to succeed?
Right.
That's a very real negativity that we think about, but it's like you have to just root yourself as much as you can in the now and like the reason for why you're doing what you're doing. It's really hard though because it's
Yep.
like this chaos and this noise of like but there's really no other way around it except doing it. Like it's almost like proving it to yourself that you're capable and
Yep.
like creating is such a personal thing. Like you said, it's a piece of you. You're scared you're going to be judged, you're going to be looked at differently. But the pull of wanting to do it, why does it it's like it'll just never leave you, I think, if you don't give it a shot, if you don't try.
Yep. I agree with that 100%.
That
I
was that was me
there's
with
a
streaming.
quote I
that was
I want to say I don't know if it's from One Piece or not, but I saw it on a One Piece meme at
One
one point,
Piece.
and it stuck with me really hard. And what you said reminded me of it. It's this like quote where someone's saying like, "What if it doesn't work out? Like, what if I don't deserve this? What if this and that?" And the bottom text is, "That's so irrelevant. Do you want it?"
Yeah, I seen that, but I don't know where it's from either. I don't
And
know where it's from either.
it's stuck with me so hard because it's like do you want it? Like, sure, you might fail. Sure, you might ruin things. Because
Yeah.
realistically,
Yeah, yeah,
let's
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so honest, no matter what you are doing, if you're writing something, making a YouTube video, going live on Twitch, making music and performing it in front of people, you are not going to succeed the first time you do it.
Yep.
And even if you do, by some huge stroke of luck, succeed the first time, you
Mm-hmm.
will crash and you will fail later.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is how we grow. It's how we learn. It's how we
Mm-hmm.
build upon
Mm-hmm.
the things that we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People see failure as this sort of like enemy, as this immutable, like unmovable object that just gets in the way and you're so terrified of it. But it's literally how you get better. It's how you improve your craft. I always told people when I was doing YouTube, when they would ask me at our like events when we were touring, they were like, man, I'd really love to do it, but I'm scared that I'm going to do poorly. And I was like, of
Mm-hmm.
course you are. Of course you are. You're going to start off bad because you don't know how to make things good yet. You haven't learned.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't taken in all of these things that you don't even know what to look for yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult, but you have to come to terms with this idea that failure is on the pathway to success. Everyone that you have ever known that has been successful at something did not get there without fighting like hell for it.
Mm-hmm.
They had to fail and fail and fail again. And eventually they got to a point where they were confident enough in their product.
Mm-hmm.
Putting product on it sounds so weird and capitalist. I'm sorry, but like
It's okay.
their thing that they're making, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
putting it out. And the secret about those people too is they still fail.
yeah.
People
Mm-hmm.
fail all the time,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how good you are. There are some,
Mm-hmm.
like, look at athletes, right? You can look at
Mm-hmm.
some of the greatest athletes in the
Mm-hmm.
fucking world, or some of the greatest actors, or, you know, artists, and they will still have games, movies, art pieces, whatever, that
Mm-hmm.
are just terrible. They're
Yeah.
bad.
Yep.
And there's always something to learn from it. If
Yeah.
you get into this, you have to be comfortable with the idea of not getting it right,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just part of the process.
I want to
And
talk about.
really, oh, sorry, just to put a cap on that,
Mhm.
to bring it all full circle, really the only thing that matters is that you want it. That's it.
Yeah, because you mentioned One Piece, so I haven't seen any of the anime. I haven't seen like
Yeah.
really anything. I've seen the live action though. I'm on like episode 3 of
Oh, it's
season
so
2.
good.
I love
It's
it so
so
much.
good.
Me and my mom, we love it. And like after we talked about it, I was like, it's kind of like we had such a real talk about like why people are driven, why people like, because there's people that want to be like, they want to have a business of whatever they want to have a business of,
Mhm.
and then there's people that are driven to be like the best football player ever. And I'm like, why are we so, we're all so different in what we want, but it's all the same sort of energy of going after something with no security. You don't know what kind of success you'll get, like going after what you want, especially with like the
Yeah.
business person. It's like, I don't know if this is gonna work out, but you have to put to
Yeah.
some degree some like investment and effort, and there's like fear behind that. But
Yeah.
One Piece, Luffy's
Yeah.
delusional as fuck, like because he's like, I'm gonna be the pirate king, and he's
Yep.
just constantly saying that. And like especially in season 2, I'm just like seeing it all. So much shit can happen, like in like spoiler alert, season episode 2, they get stuck in the whale. And it's like
Yeah.
he didn't foresee that happening along his journey, but you
Yeah.
just find a way to keep believing,
Yep.
to keep going. And it's like, is it delusion? I don't know if I want to use that word. It's like when there's nothing else pushing you forward in life, a purpose, it's more than delusion. It's like you want it. Like you said,
Yeah.
you want it so much that you'll face anything to keep going. Cuz like the
Yep.
reality is we don't know what tomorrow holds. The past is gone. All we have is this push, this
Yep.
attempt at continuing to believe in whatever it is that we want.
Right. No,
It's insane.
absolutely. I think delusion is probably a pretty good word for it. It
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like it stings a little bit, but I think the concept itself stings a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, especially as somebody that, I mean, it seems like, how do I say this? Um, I said it pretty clearly earlier that, like, I figured out at some point that my purpose is to
Mm-hmm.
create things, to make things and put it in front of people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's both a wonderful and a like a terrifying thing to come
Mm-hmm.
to the realization for, because once you know what your end goal is, what you are committing yourself to,
Mm-hmm.
that can be immensely fulfilling. It can
Mm-hmm.
also be delusional, right? Like you kind of
Yes.
feel delusional. Like I've been doing this
Yes.
for over 6 years, and there have been ups and downs. I have had. I don't like to look at like numbers specifically because
Mm-hmm.
that's not what I'm in it
Yeah, me
for. But
either.
as part of being a streamer, it kind of comes with the territory, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
I've had months or years where my viewership will be really low or really
Mm-hmm.
high. I started off with like 60 or 70 concurrent viewers, and I took a huge mental health break, and I came back right after that first year where I streamed basically every day for a year. And I lost most of my audience, and I went on streaming to like two people for like a year or two. And it was
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt my self-esteem by a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it was rough, but I also knew the whole time that like this is what I have to do. This is what I am committed to, no matter how miserable it may make me in the
Mm-hmm.
interim, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm committed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really resonate with Luffy as a character for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One Piece is so precious to me. I've watched, the whole anime. I read the manga. I've watched the
Sheesh.
live action. I'm all over it. And Luffy is so brilliant in so many ways. He is so strong in ways that subvert expectations, right? He is confident in his friends and he believes in them. He's very reliable.
Mm-hmm.
He's physically strong, even though he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a lanky little guy. Um,
Yeah.
he goes and roams around the world, and he liberates people because his idea of freedom is something that he believes in his very heart, and he puts it on other people too. And
Mm-hmm.
he has this way of like letting people see this idea that you are at your best when you're your most free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so amazing because it's become this sort of like worldwide phenomenon in the real world where
Mm-hmm.
people are using the straw hat pirates and their flag and their logo or whatever
Mm-hmm.
as a symbol of like revolution and freedom, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also brilliant. But specifically, one of the things that I love the most, and it's exactly what you're talking about, is his determination. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact that he
Yes.
knows what he wants, and
Determination.
he's gonna
Yeah.
get it, like
Mm-hmm.
even if he doesn't get it in the end, he's going to operate on the belief that it is
Mm-hmm.
his. And
Mm-hmm.
that is so hard to do
Mm-hmm.
when you live in a world that benefits off the idea of you doubting yourself and
Yes.
putting yourself down and
Mm-hmm.
comparing yourself. We talked about comparisons earlier, and really the only true thing about comparisons is that they're the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
It When you compare yourself to someone else or you compare your work to somebody else, you are setting yourself up for failure. You need to make the things you want and
Mm-hmm.
just put it out there. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's
Mm-hmm.
the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Luffy embodies this idea so beautifully that
Mm-hmm.
you just got to do it, like you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it. Everything else will either fall into place or you'll figure something else out. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Let's say Luffy. Let's say Luffy is a doubting doubter as well, and he's doubting his capabilities to be
Yeah,
the Pirate King.
sure.
I've come to this conclusion and this concept today, this morning. Whatever it is you want, how crazy it is. Okay, a lot of people have done crazy things in this world and they've achieved it. Okay, whatever. For you, it's different. All right, for you, it's different. And it's not possible. Okay, and you're crazy for even attempting it. You deserve to try.
Yep.
I think there's really you deserve to try. Like even if you deserve to try, like things aren't forever.
Yeah.
Like what you said with the comedy show, right?
Yeah.
You did it for a period, it dissolved, but like it's an experience on your belt. It's
Yep.
something, it's a part of your history. It makes you who you are. It sure in the technicalities of it failed, but isn't the amazingness of life is that we experience and we learn more about ourselves. And if we rob ourselves of continuing to progress and learn more about ourselves because we're afraid to create, we're getting in the way.
Yep.
We're getting in the way.
Absolutely.
We're getting in the way.
Absolutely. That's 100%. That resonates with me a
Yeah.
million percent. And I would take it so far as to say that it is perhaps the only right choice. The only, the
Mhm.
only right choice
Yeah.
is to do it. If you have a dream, something you want more than anything else, something that would fulfill you on such a deep, fundamental level, you not only should do it, you owe it to yourself to do it. We
Yes.
live in a world that exists almost exclusively to beat you down, right? You go to work 5 days a week
Oh
if
my
you're
fucking
working full
god.
time.
Oh yes, yes,
It's
yes,
awful. I hate it. And thank
yes.
God it's Friday. Amen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway,
Thank
um,
you.
you go to work 5 days a week and you come home and you deal with stressors at home
Mhm.
and you get like 2 days a week to sit down and figure out what you got to do. And
Mhm.
it's so depressing and sad. And we are all victims of this terrible cycle of society. And
Mhm.
it's disgusting. And
Mhm.
it does this really terrible thing where it suppresses your individuality. It takes everything that is special about you and stuffs it down into a little box and puts it in the dark corner of a closet. And a
Mhm.
lot of people just end up forgetting about it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you owe it to yourself in this one life that you get to
Mhm.
pursue not only what makes you happy, but what makes you fulfilled and what you think you deserve to have.
Absolutely.
It is the only right choice. There is no other decision you can make that is more right than that.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, anyway.
I agree with you. I agree with you because every time, because I went like 6 months before starting streaming again, not streaming, and it just doesn't leave you. There's just
Yep.
things that you want to do deep down. You don't understand it. It makes no fucking sense. And it's
Yeah.
like, it just keeps persisting. It's like, just try it though. Try it though.
Yep.
And it's like, expand. Try it. And it's like, what else do you have? What else do you have if you don't try? Like, you're in despair, probably. You're probably depressed, demotivated. You feel like you have no way forward.
Yep.
Exactly. You keep blocking your own way forward.
Yep.
Of course, you feel like you're stuck. You keep
Yep.
getting stuck. The only way to be unstuck is is to have comparison. Comparison. Do not compare yourself to other people. We all have different life circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, we're not all the same people, but the great thing that we're all individuals and we can do things our way. For me, in the past, what really something I really struggled with was wanting to do things my way. And like finally coming to terms with like I should be allowed to do things my way because that's the only way I can move forward. At that
Yep.
point, it's time. Like, stop giving a fuck about how everyone else is doing it. You need to do it your way. Cause like
Yeah.
life is short, things aren't getting better. Go. Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're parenting yourself in a way and being like, just go for it,
Yeah.
kid. Like, come on now, it's time. It's time. Like, what else? You've tried everything. What?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
absolutely. No, first of all, I don't know where you pulled my specific experience out when you were talking about like, you're probably depressed or whatever. I mean, that's literally
Yeah.
me. Back in like, I mean, it's happened a couple times, but specifically one of the big moments was back in 2021. I was like rock bottom. I hit
Mhm.
like an all-time low. I'd been streaming for a couple years, but I was thinking about quitting.
Mhm.
I was very, very mentally ill. I just gotten out of a relationship that lasted like on and off like 7 or 8 years,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
my life was all over the place. I had just gotten laid off from my job for different reasons, like COVID was a big one,
Mhm.
and I didn't know what to do. And I fought for so long to figure out how to live with myself, right?
Mhm.
How to get up every day and not hate the idea of rolling out of bed.
Mhm.
How to find interest in the everyday and the mundane, and how to
Mhm.
go about life without being miserable.
Mhm.
And I did a lot of soul searching, and one of the things that I landed on was this concept that you have to pursue your own happiness, sometimes no matter the cost. As long
Yes.
as it is not hurting people, as
Mhm.
long as it is not prohibiting someone else from doing the same, and as long as it is conducive to your best possible self, you have to pursue what makes you happy. If
Mhm.
that means that you sit in your house all day every day and you just watch things you want to watch and play video games, I'm not going to say that's healthy all the time, but if that's what makes
Yes.
you happy,
Mhm.
like you got to do it at least for a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
obviously there's something to be said about like, fresh air helps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interacting with
Yeah.
other human beings is
Yeah.
healthy, whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
on a
Whatever.
on a greater scale, like the way this kind of interacts with what we're talking about is I landed on this idea that creating is what makes me happy.
Mhm.
It is, and I've said this a million times, and I will say it a million more. It is at the core of who I am.
Mhm.
And I was so worried about it for so long because I was like, I am putting it in the way of everything. You know, when I was in high school, when I started to kind of figure this stuff out, when I was coaching, I put a lot of my schoolwork on the side to do that.
Mhm.
And there was a huge moment where I kind of hit it big, and I had offers to move to Brazil in
Wow.
my junior year to coach some of the best teams in Brazil to go to the World Championships, and it was
Wow.
like it was crazy. They were like, "Listen, we'll chauffeur you around. We'll pay for your cell phone. You'll live in like a high-rise apartment. We're gonna set you up."
Mm.
And I didn't do it because, first of all, I was concerned my parents would kill me, and they probably
Mm.
would have. But the
Yeah.
other thing was that I just was so like set on this idea that I was like, I need to finish my high school education. How weird would
Mm.
it be to take off and do this
Mhm.
before I was even like fully graduated?
Mhm.
And that's one part of it, but that was I always kicked myself in the ass for not taking that opportunity
Mhm.
because it would have been so transformative. It would have been such a special opportunity for me.
Mhm.
And I could have figured something out. Like, even if I had to go get my fucking GED somewhere,
Mhm.
like, can
Mhm.
you imagine? It would have been so cool. And
Mhm.
I don't regret it as much now. You know, you got to show yourself a little grace. But
Yeah.
it went on to inform more down the line that's like, you just gotta do it sometimes, right? Like,
Mhm.
you gotta
Mhm.
do what makes you happy. You have to
Mhm.
pursue the things that are going to fulfill you because it's this is so relevant in the world we live in right now where people are fighting and killing each other and
Mhm.
the terrible things are happening every day and the
Mhm.
United States is we don't have to talk about it
Mhm.
um but when everything has gone to shit, when everything is on fire,
Mhm.
the only thing that matters is that you are taking care of yourself and the people you care about. And in terms of taking care of yourself, there is no better way than to pursue the things that really truly make you happy. So you got to do it. You got to. And that is the main idea that managed to help me pull out of this sort of like depressive episode. And
Mhm.
obviously you're never truly free of like poor mental health. It comes and goes. It's a
Mhm.
roller coaster, but
Mhm.
um following that sort of guidance, that keystone that I sort of figured out has been a really great sort of motivator for me to
Mhm.
stay out of those darker corners and to you know get out of bed in the morning and to even go and work a job that I hate and do all these things that I can't stand because
Mhm.
at the end of the day I get to come home and I get to do the things that I really do appreciate,
Mhm.
and I think that's really important.
Yeah, that is so important. I've had that conversation with my mom before. I think it was something similar like the world is so messed up. Like, are we put here to try to solutionize it? Is that even in our power? Can we even do that as like
Yeah,
individuals? Like, I'm just some random girl in the East Coast. Like, do I have that power? And unfortunately, a lot of us don't have that. We can't. It's just not in our
yeah,
hands to change the world, unfortunately. And like you said, you kind of just accept that being happy, doing what you love, is love that spreads. In a world that's already broken and fucked up since the moment you were born, for
yeah,
centuries, to just be another person of the 8 billion people, everyone is deserving to find some sort of happiness, some sort of joy.
yeah,
And because there's nothing else. It's really sad, but
yeah,
like just accepting that, like I really believe that when you're happy and when you love what you do, it can do great things, not for yourself, not just for yourself, but for everyone else too.
yeah,
And you have to believe that as much as you doubt and you worry and you're like, I'm not where I should be, or like things aren't looking the way that I wish they look like, especially for other people comparison yet again.
yeah,
It you have to just there is no other way. I keep saying being present, but like that's really the only thing you have is
yeah, it's
being
real.
present and just doing it, cuz that's the only thing that can make you like look
Yeah.
forward to every day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I grew up it's so funny you say like changing the world. I grew up as like an altruistic little child. I wanted to do good by people. I wanted to make the world a better place.
Mhm.
I grew up wanting to be a police officer when I was really little, and eventually
Mm.
I would come to learn that that was not a great decision. But we'll
Yeah,
move past that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Anyway.
I wanted to be like a
Anyway.
doctor or a firefighter. I
Uh,
wanted to do all these things to help people, right?
mhm.
And eventually I did kind of land on something you just said, that like you can't change the world in any, big capacity like that as one
Mhm.
person. And I know you can like single out people that obviously have made huge whatever. We're not here to talk about that.
Mhm.
One of the most beautiful things about doing this, especially on Twitch, is that you can't change the world, but you can change somebody's world. Every time someone sits down and watches your content and it makes their day better,
Mhm.
or they are inspired to do
Mhm.
something that they might not have done
Yeah.
otherwise,
Mhm.
or something like lasts with them, it lingers with them,
Mhm.
you are changing someone's individual world in that moment. And
Mhm.
that is like maybe the single most special thing to me. When someone
Mhm.
comes to me and first of all, they're opting to spend their time with me when they could be doing anything else. That's crazy.
Mhm.
But beyond that, when you can make content that affects people in a profound way, that's just there's something so beautiful about that, so
Mhm.
special. And to me, it's almost akin to changing the world, right? Like sometimes, changing the world starts with baby steps, right? And
Mhm.
being able to affect someone's day, to like pull someone up and make some content and make their day better. That's
Mhm.
crazy. That's
Mhm.
crazy to me. Even one person. And there are people out here doing it for hundreds or thousands of people. That's beyond insane to me.
Mhm.
It's so incredible.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like what you said really rings true. Like you can't really change the world, but you can do other things, and you can bring it all together, and um it's really special.
I want to mention Bad Bunny because he says to live is to love, something like that. In Spanish, I
Oh,
wish I could like say it, but
no, I love that.
for some people, there's celebrities, there's all type of people in the world, but there's people that their greatest purpose is giving their children like the best life they can. And it's like
Yeah.
in a way, it's like you said, changing the world. It's like to, especially with family trauma, to decide to be a better parent, that's changing the world. You're gonna affect the next generations of your like kids and their kids of like
Yep.
you deciding I don't want what happened to me to happen to them. So you kind of just like you love is the answer. Love your love yourself.
Amen.
Love
Amen.
life. Love the world as like as imperfect as it is. Sometimes that imperfectness, you're like I have the power to try to make it better. And you're not delusional for that. You're not,
Right.
if, if getting to that point means you believing in yourself and trusting your dreams, your aspirations, then go for it. It can, like you said as well, that like streaming makes someone's day. Musicians, like I have never met Keshi, I have never met DPR Ian, but their music has changed my life.
Yeah.
That is the magic. That is the magic of pursuing your creativity, whatever it is that you want to do. It affect you have no idea how it can affect other people. And to
Yeah.
change the world, you touch people's hearts.
Yep.
You mean something to them, especially in the world where we're becoming more digital and like TikTok and short attention spans and just like getting clicks and that we're all just products and we're all just data.
Yeah.
Don't forget that behind the digital, we're all people still. Like that still matters. Like like something recently that I saw was the metaverse. And like and have you
Oh
seen that?
God.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that? And it's like they spent
Yeah.
so much money on that.
Like
And they're
$80 billion or something
and they were
stupid.
like, this is gonna be a big thing, it's gonna give jobs. And I'm like, there's literally people that are homeless. And it's like,
Yeah.
how are you spending this amount of money in a digital world? We're people first before we are anything you can gain from us digitally. Like
Yep.
whatever that is, right? Profit, having our attention spans and stuff like that. So it's like there's so many it's as much as like, because for me, I got clouded by wanting to chase fame, wanting to chase success, wanting
Yeah,
numbers, and
it's
then it's
easy.
just, but it's so miserable when you're honest with yourself and you're like, this is, I don't deserve this as a human being. I deserve to be happy. Like I deserve to love what I do and like wake up actually wanting to feel good rather
Yeah,
than like being like, I don't know, not really being controlled, but kind of just being like, I don't know. In a way, I push myself to be things that I wasn't. And it's like
yeah,
I need to stop doing that to myself because I don't deserve that. And
no,
and
100%.
I need to change the way that I what I believe. Because if the world, cuz like honestly, of course with the big streamers, they're doing certain things, they're doing TikToks and like you could push yourself to try to get to their success, but
Yeah,
like but you can't lie to yourself. I tried doing
no,
TikToks. I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
nope,
It
me
does not
neither.
make me happy. And
Me
it's
neither.
like there's no other way. There's no
Yeah,
other way but to be honest and to just go after your life the way that you believe, even if it's like, cause like nowadays TikTok fame, right? Oh, I could do that. But you gotta be like Luffy and be like, I'm gonna do it my way and I'm gonna get there. Like
yeah,
you have to do it. You have to see it that
yeah,
way. It like it's so almost exciting once you get past the doubt a little bit. It'd be like perhaps there's a possibility, and it's worth seeing how far I can go every day.
yeah, yeah. I like to call that Mr. Beast syndrome. When you sit down with the intention of making as much money as possible
Mhm.
and being as famous as possible,
Mhm.
and everything you do is algorithmic down to a point, and you
Yes.
might as well have AI come up with your video ideas.
Mhm.
It's so soulless, and
Yeah.
you can tell when you look into that man's eyes that
Mhm.
there's not a lot there. That's all I'm gonna
Mhm.
say. It's
Mhm.
like it's if you are looking to do this in the wrong way, I believe there are very few wrong ways to create things and to exist on these
Mhm.
platforms. But in my personal opinion, that is one of them. That is the wrong way to do it. You have to do it because you love doing it. You
Yeah.
have to do it because you find interest in it, because you think it's fun or fulfilling or even cool. Whatever reason you have
Mhm.
to enjoy it. And
Mhm.
if you don't, you're just going to end up probably falling off of it.
Mhm.
Because the secret is that if you go into it wanting to be famous, you're never going to be famous unless
Yeah.
you're some, like political grifter or something,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the easiest
that's
way to go nowadays.
yeah,
That's
it seems
nowadays.
pretty easy to
Yeah.
do that nowadays.
Nowadays.
But
Nowadays.
it's one of the only ways that is not like morally or personally bankrupt.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because to bring it back to creation, creation is literally just the soul. It's like creating something, like you said, that doesn't exist. It's like, where does that, why? It's such a weird thing. Like the people that innovate the, like these ideas that we come up with and that they just won't leave us. It's, it's, it's human. Like, why?
Yeah,
It makes us happy. It can do some sort of good. We just need to allow ourselves to take those steps. I know
right.
it's really hard, but if there's nothing else, what else are you allowed to have than to
Yeah,
try? Than to try.
absolutely. I
Mm-hmm,
agree.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
100%.
And now we are almost to the end of the podcast, and I have a few more questions.
Okay.
You kind of already answered this, but I'm gonna ask it again. Did you ever think you'd get to where you are today?
Um, Not in the capacity I that I exist now, right? That
mm,
sounds like a weird answer. Let me explain. Um, I didn't go into this with an idea of ending up in any particular place. I
mm,
just
mm,
wanted to make something cool and like see what people thought about it.
mm.
I was one of those people that used to write stories and post them on Wattpad. I don't know if you're
Oh
familiar with
wait,
Wattpad at all.
I've done that, but on a different website.
Yeah,
Different
yeah, yeah,
website.
yeah. And it was just because it was like, hey, I made this cool thing. Like, I want people to read it. I want to hear what they
Mm-hmm.
think. And so, like, there's always been this part in the back of my head that'd be like, you know what? It would be really cool if I were to achieve like traditional success, right? Maybe not for the
Mm-hmm.
reasons people think. I don't really care about being famous. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care about having big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I When I fantasize the idea of being big and successful in this space,
Mm-hmm.
in a traditional sense, it's for just a couple reasons. One of them is that if I were to make a shit ton of money doing this, I could like pay off all of the bills for my family and let them
Mm,
live however long they have left in absolute glory. They could do whatever they wanted. They wouldn't need to worry about a thing. I could give them things they've never had.
I
I
love
think
that.
that's a huge
Mm-hmm.
motivator for me.
Yep.
And I could do it for my friends, and I could do it for people that are less fortunate. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
had a ton of money, I would just go around feeding people on the street. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
my idea of a good time. I love
Mm-hmm.
the concept of that. And being able to give it to causes that really deserve it and to
Mm-hmm.
help make the world a better place in a little, special kind of way would be really
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And it would also enable me to make even cooler things, because the sad thing about creating is sometimes you do hit a wall, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can only
Mm-hmm.
do so much with the resources that are granted to you, and you
Yep.
can get really creative and kind of tiptoe around that a
Mm-hmm.
little bit if
Mm-hmm.
you are like really visionary. But at the end of the day, if you want to like say like one of my star shot goals is to someday have like my VTuber lore adapted into an anime by a studio that I can really
Ooh.
appreciate. Like I can't do that. I don't have the money for that. I don't have the clout for that. Like people would look at me and call me absolutely insane. But I'd
But
be able to make something really cool that a lot of people could really enjoy if I just had the resources that come with being traditionally successful.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um and will I ever get there? Realistically, probably not, right? It's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's the way the world works. So like I'm not attached to the idea. Um,
Yes, I love
but
that.
like,
I love that.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it would be cool, right? But like, I think I never thought that I would be in a space where so many people cared about the things that I had to say and the
Mm-hmm.
things that I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I can't speak enough on how important and how beautiful this concept of community is,
Mm-hmm.
and how absolutely just mind blowing it is to
Mm-hmm.
have people in your corner that will support you through whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it's there's nothing more special to me than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess no, I didn't really think that I'd be here because I didn't really understand what it meant to be
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
But I'm glad that I'm here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's good. That's good. I remembered myself when I was like deeply motivated, or as motivated as, not deeply, I'm exaggerating, but it's like that's
Yeah.
my, I'm going to try to get to that fame or whatever, that attention, those numbers. I realized like when I started realizing that wasn't making me happy, I was like cuz like I had met Azuki, I had met Bambi, Ara, and in the collabs that you put together as well, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I am actually deep down just seeking connection. Like
Yeah.
like I don't have to have all the money in the world. I don't have to be rich. I don't have to have the numbers, but to be able to just be with people and have that connection. And that's, I don't know, it just, I was like, wow, that's really what I just wanted. And then and also as well, it's like I also want to keep creating. Like there's music I want to make, there's art that I want to do. And I'm realizing now that I have to do it. I have to do it alone. I have to focus up. I have to create it. And some deep fear inside of me is that like I'm gonna be forgotten for some reason, or like I'm gonna be
Oh
too
no, I hear
focused on
that.
myself. And
100%.
and and it's like I can't. I can't give into those fears because it's getting in the way of what I really really want. Like I still want streaming to work out, but I want it to work out in my way. Like I
Yeah.
don't want it to be, I don't want to get big because I'm pretending to be someone I'm not. I want to do it my way. I want it to
Sure.
be, I want a community surrounding what I'm creating. And that's it. And I need to give myself that the path to be able to pursue it. As scary as it is, but there,
Yeah.
it feels like there's no other way forward for me. Like quite literally, this is what all of us talking about this morning. I was like, there's no other way forward than this.
Yeah.
There's no
No,
other way forward.
100%. And the thing is like we live in a world where creativity is so sadly like being threatened, right?
Mm,
With generative AI
yeah.
and all of these tech bros and these
Mm-hmm.
common everyday people thinking that you can be an artist by writing some words into an AI
Mm-hmm.
engine on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
and you can make movies and you can write beautiful things or make music. I mean, it's really infringing on so many things. There is almost nothing more important than individuality and creativity
Mm-hmm.
on a personal, like in a personal sense, right? I always tell people, like, if nothing else, you have a duty to create things simply to combat everything that is trying to stop you from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Just the process
Mm-hmm.
of creating is so in danger now that,
Mm-hmm.
like, we there is a non-zero chance that 100 years from now no one's making any art on their own at all. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
is just like, hey, I need some art for this, or this sounds cool,
Mm-hmm.
let me type it into chat gpt 73 or whatever.
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
like, you have to make things. You
Yes.
have to.
You
It's
have
so
to.
important. You, like, if you are not making things, you should. If you are making things, please continue to make things,
Mm-hmm.
push the envelope, make people uncomfortable, do
Yes.
things that are creative and special and unique to you, because it is so endangered right now.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
is there has
Absolutely.
never been a more important time in the
Yes.
history of the world for you
Yes.
to make things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. 1,000,100%. It's
Yeah,
just, it is endangered. It is endangered in the way that we're heading. Profit. It just, it's. We have to believe, like Luffy, that
true.
our art
Like Luffy.
has a greater purpose. It has a greater purpose, and we don't have to see that purpose now.
Yep.
One thing that I wrote when I was learning dance on a, what was it, steezy.com, one of the poppers, I forgot his name though, but he was like, don't worry too much about greatness. Don't get caught up in being great in people's eyes. Like, just be focused on being the best you can be. And
Yep.
then it's like, yeah, just greatness and the opinions of others and what your art signifies, what you're creating signifies, what it's going to bring you, the external. Drown it out as much as you can and really kind of understand why you even keep pushing anyway, cuz like there's a chance you're not going to get anywhere. There's a chance you're not going to really, but it's
Yeah.
like, but that's not the point. The
Yep.
point of creating is not achieving something, not getting money. As much as that like feels like it is, it feels like going against something that, like,
Yeah.
nah, that's the purpose of art. No, it isn't. Okay, it just looks shiny. It looks beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
people got money, people, concerts, musicians, and big
Yep.
streamers and big YouTubers, but it's like, no, no, okay, no. I just say
Yep.
no. Take that for what you will. Think about it, okay? Because everyone has a different way of thinking about it. Everyone has a different
Yeah.
way to see it all. But just
Yeah.
create, like you
Yeah.
said.
I mean,
It's
there's a
endangered.
secret to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I learned this while I was coaching, but it applies very much so to creating and to almost anything else. And it's something that I used to tell the people I would coach all the time. And it's that you need to have fun doing things you care about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can manage that, everything else follows.
Yes.
If you have fun doing the things you're doing, if you are experimenting with new things, learning new things, improving what you're doing out of the love of the game, greatness will follow, because you're building on it bit by bit and you're failing along the way. But failure hurts a lot less when you're having fun failing,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you are enjoying the process, everything else falls into line. It literally comes naturally. Does that mean you're going to be famous and huge and, like, well, all this different stuff? Not necessarily, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there are so many people out there that make amazing things just because they love it. Like, look at all of the different traditional artists that made some of the most beautiful art this world has ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
that were not appreciated at all during their lifetime, but
Yeah.
then ended up
Yeah.
becoming appreciated post-mortem.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
there is beauty to be found no matter who you are and what you're
Mm-hmm.
making and where you're making it. And you just have to do it because you love it. You got to do it for love of the game. That's all there is.
Because the importance is in your humanly time and energy to just even
Yep.
bother doing it. Like, bro, who is motivating you other than yourself? Who's beating yourself up for not even trying? It's you. Like,
Yep.
you owe it to yourself to do it, whatever that is. Like, what? Just do it. It's really
Just do
hard,
it.
but just do it.
What would
Just do
Luffy
it.
do? Just do
Yeah.
it.
What would Luffy do?
I'm gonna live by that.
So what would you like our listeners to take away from this conversation? Great conversation, by the way. I love that we talked about things that I was kind of already thinking about. And what's really
Yeah.
cool is that like every episode, I feel like it's like aligning with like things I'm going through in my life, and I'm like, I don't know, something that's crazy. But
Yeah.
what message do you want to leave them with? Like,
Okay.
mhm.
I've got it. I've got it. I'm gonna say the important topical stuff first, and then I'm gonna say the heavier stuff after, so that if you decide you want to cut that out for whatever reason, you can. Okay.
Mm.
The most important thing is something that we have said a million times over the last hour and 11 minutes, and that is that you need to take a chance on yourself. You need to pursue happiness. You
Mm-hmm.
need to prioritize the people that love you.
Yes.
Love the people that love you. There is
Yes.
not a lot that's more important than the bonds you keep with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to put yourself out there. You need to create things.
Mm-hmm.
You just, at the very least, try. I'm not going to like be one of those people that stands on a soapbox and says everybody has to love creating, and if you don't, you're
It's
wrong,
really
like
hard.
whatever.
It's really hard.
Yeah. I'm
Really
sure
hard.
there are people out there that really do not give a shit about writing or
Mm-hmm.
filming or
Mm-hmm.
creating at all. Like, and you know what? That's fair. If that's your prerogative, if that's how you want to live your life, who am
Mm-hmm.
I to judge?
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever. Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me, but maybe it's you. Whatever. But it's so important, and you can't let fear get in the way.
Yeah.
Do it scared. You have to do it. Courage is acting in the face of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Be courageous,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a day and age that is absolutely trying to make you succumb to that fear and
Mm-hmm.
trying to push you into a box. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let them. That is so important. And now here's the other part. If you have a platform, it is your responsibility to use it for good. There are terrible things happening in this world right now. And these grifters, honestly, there are grifters on both sides of the aisle. I don't want to pretend like I'm like super focused on one, but specifically these right-wing grifters are so loud and they drown people out. And it is becoming this big accepted idea that you can be a bigot and a Nazi and be a terrible person. And that's because for some reason, they are totally okay with yelling everything they have to say at everyone that will listen.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that stand for things that matter are too afraid to say things because they want to keep a safe space, or they want to stay out of politics, or whatever million other reasons they have. But what I will tell you is that you have a responsibility as a creator, if you are one, or even just as a person with a clear conscience, to stand up against injustice, to call things out when you see them. It is so imperative, especially today, now, with everything happening. And so on that, I say, fuck Donald Trump, fuck ICE,
Yep.
fuck Israel,
Yeah. Fuck 'em.
and fuck them.
Fuck
Fuck them
'em.
all. You know
Fuck.
what? Be the change you want to be. Pursue a better world.
Yeah.
There is one out there.
Yeah.
It's possible. We can make it, but you have to care about it. You have to have hard conversations. You need to inform people. Please, I implore you from the bottom of my heart, give a shit.
We all deserve happiness. We can't let negativity that gets in the way of people's happiness be normalized. Improve your own life so that it expands as well. A lot of things we don't have control over. But if we can, like Bad Bunny, try to love as much as we can, it's everything. It's everything. We don't live too long. Be good, bring good, love, and that's it.
Especially in a world where people are so focused on being comfortable. Of course, you want to be comfortable, but think about all of the people in Palestine that can't be comfortable. That's not an option. In the absolute best case, things are terrible. To have the privilege to sit in your house or wherever you are sitting, you got to push yourself a little bit. Let's grow up a little bit and let's figure it out. If you don't step up and make your voice heard and vote and do everything that you can to make this world a better place, it may not affect you right now, but it will. And eventually it's going to hit you before you even know it. So you need to take action now, and you need to start talking about it, and you need to be the change you want to see.
That's the end of this episode, episode 5 with Kyle XCVI.
Let's go!
I hope you guys can walk away from this episode with a lot of insight, a lot of perspective. I hope everything works out. And even if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, man. Do what you you can. Do what is possible for you. If you can just make it work and you can keep going, keep believing in yourself, like Luffy, that's all you need, man. You don't know what could happen. Just keep listening to the pull, to the call in your heart to do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just
be free.
Be free. Be free. Set yourself free. Free yourself. Liberate yourself, you know, because the world ain't gonna do it.
All right, bye everybody. Thanks for coming.